Every freelancer I talk to thinks they're playing it safe. Steady income from Fiverr, or maybe it's Upwork. Those reviews are stacking up and it feels stable. Here's what I think actually happened. You didn't choose the safe option, you chose the riskiest one. You just can't see the risk right now because it hasn't happened to you. I want to walk you through exactly why building your entire business on someone else's platform is the single riskiest bet in all of freelancing, and what safe actually looks like instead. Quick question: if Fiverr suspended your account tomorrow, no warning or explanation, just gone, what would happen to your income next week? For most freelancers on these platforms, the honest answer is it would disappear. Not slow down, but actually disappear. So sit with that for a second. That's not a hypothetical designed to scare you. It's a real thing that happens to real sellers regularly. Sometimes for reasons as small as an algorithm flag or a policy update that they never saw coming. And if your entire income structure can vanish because one decision made by a company you don't work for and you can't actually call, that's not stability. That's the definition of risk. So you've just gotten used to it, so it doesn't feel risky anymore. Here's the core issue. Everything you've built on that platform, your reviews, your ranking, your repeat buyers, maybe your search visibility, none of it is actually yours, and you don't own your reviews. You can't take them with you, and you don't own your ranking. It's an algorithm's opinion of you, and it's recalculated constantly. And worst part, it can change without explanation. You don't even fully own your relationship with your repeat clients. The platform sits in the middle of every single message, every payment, and every one of their renewals. Compare that to something like an email list or a following on a channel you can control. If Instagram disappeared tomorrow, that's genuinely bad, but if you had an email list, you'd still have a way to reach every single person on it. On Fiverr, there's no equivalent. There's no export button for My Reputations, and it lives entirely inside their own system on their own terms. I've made this point in other videos, but it's worth repeating here because it's actually at the root of the risk. The platform's goal is not necessarily your goal. The platform wants more buyers, more transactions, more sellers competing for those same buyers, because that's what makes the platform money in the end of the day. Whether an individual seller thrives long-term isn't something the platform is really optimizing for. You are one interchangeable input into a system built for someone else's growth. That means every rule, every algorithm change, and every new feature is evaluated by, does this help our platform grow? Not, does this help sellers build real long-term businesses? Sometimes these two things overlap, and often they don't. And when they don't, you lose out because you don't get a vote on how things change. This is the part that trips people up because it feels backwards. Platform income feels more stable than building your own brand because it can be consistent week to week for a long time until it finally isn't. But consistency isn't the same thing as stability. Consistency just means nothing has gone wrong up until this point. But real stability means if one of my channels breaks, I have others. If the algorithm changes, you're not starting from zero. And if a client relationship ends suddenly, you have a way to find the next one that doesn't depend on a platform's search results or maybe their negative review. Platform-only freelancers usually don't find out how fragile their setup was until something breaks. It could be a suspension, a policy change, a sudden flood of new, cheaper competitors. I'm looking at you, AI, and that can happen in their category. By then, it's not a gradual problem to solve, it's an emergency. So what exactly is the alternative? Now, don't quit the platform. I said this before and I'll say it again. That's not really the point of this video. The alternative is building things alongside the platform that you can actually own. A specific positioning that's yours, not generic to your service category. You want content on YouTube, Instagram, or wherever that builds an audience who knows you specifically, not just some seller in this category. An email list, a way for people to find and contact you that doesn't run through anyone else's search algorithm. None of that replaces the platform overnight. But every piece of it is an asset that's yours, one that doesn't disappear if a platform changes, its rules changes, and one that actually compounds over time instead of resetting every time the algorithm shifts on one of these websites. The freelancers who eventually get off the platform dependency treadmill, they didn't do it by finding a better platform. They did it by building something the platform couldn't take away from them. If you've ever had that thought, even for a second, what would happen to me if this account just disappeared? That's definitely something worth taking seriously. Not as a panic, but as a signal that it might be time to build something that's actually yours. That's exactly what we'd work through together in the link below for my discovery call. What I want to do is work through people to build their own unique brand, positioning, and offer so they can reach the clients they want to work with without relying on another platform. So if you're interested in that, you can go to the description down below, book that call, and we'll discuss in that strategy session how to get you earning something that is from you, not from one of these platforms. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.